Welcome to A Lunch with Biggie, a podcast about small business and creatives sharing their stories and inspiring you. My guest today is an illustrator and a graphic designer from the Netherlands who believes in being kind and creating good shit. If you've seen my brand, Deli Fresh Threads, you've probably already seen his work. Please welcome the designer behind Dedonleon Designs, Don Schuuring. What's going on, Don?
Hey, Biggie. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Thanks for having a lunch break with me. I appreciate this. This is a long time coming. Actually, this is the first time we've actually ever seen each other, and we've been
Yeah,
working with each other for a few years. So this is exciting for me.
already had lunch because it's 3 p.m. here.
All right. So with that being said, what is your go-to lunch or sandwich?
I love going out to lunch with my wife and daughter, especially my wife because my daughter's only 2 years old. Go to would probably mostly be a hamburger or a smash burger or something like that. I live in Dronten, which is in the Netherlands. And there's a place, a restaurant where we also got married, by the way. And they have this thing called the Thuisburger. That's number one for me. Yeah, I think that would be my go-to lunch break for sure.
What's in that burger? What's in the sounded like a Dutch burger. Like what's in the burger?
Yeah, I already thought that you were going to ask me this question, and I was thinking what I do know it's kind of spicy, but it's just kind of a fat patty, you know, medium. It's not like smashed to non-existence, and it's a brioche.
Okay.
Is that the right word?
Yep. Brioche bread.
With bacon and cheese, of course. Yeah, so sort of like that, but it's just unique in its own way. I need to look up what the menu says
Yeah,
though,
you're gonna have
I'm
to
not
send me a
doing it
picture
just.
of this.
Yeah, I will do that. But yeah, it's delicious. If you ever come to the Netherlands and somehow end up in Dronten, you should taste it.
If I do, don't worry, you'll know because I'll be in your neck of the woods. So I definitely will let you
Yeah,
know.
great. And we will be getting lunch together, of course.
I look forward to that. So Don, how did you get into becoming doing illustration and starting up Don Leon Designs in 2017? Like what's the lunch break version of the story?
Well, it's kind of I can make this long or short, but it's been a long journey for me to get to the point where I am now, even if I'm just only 32, but close to 33. But yeah, I just never really knew what to do in life, kind of from high school on. There's different graduation systems in the Netherlands, I believe, compared to America. But I finished high school, and then you can go up a notch in terms of how difficult things are. It's called HAVO or VWO. And during HAVO, it really got close to me about what should I do after this, and I just didn't know what would be for me. So I kind of messed around in high school and never finished that part. And then I got into 4 years of working because my parents were like, yeah, you can live in our house, but you got to contribute in some way. So I worked at a restaurant next to the highway, which was horrible. And I just hated life for 1 year. And then I got out and I started working at a supermarket, which is, yeah, very stupid work for someone who is creative, of course. So I felt kind of trapped. But it allowed me because I was working shifts at night, like 4 a.m. starting, and the trucks would come in and I was unloading them, and then you had this whole shift of filling the racks and all that shit, sort of stuff. And then I would leave work around 12 or 1 p.m. So that left me with a whole lot of time for my day, and I did waste a lot of it playing video games and still searching. But then some sort of shift happened, and I was like, yeah, I should pick up the pencil again because I loved drawing as a kid, and I got inspired for tattooing. So my goal was to try and start tattooing or something like that. But it's kind of an alternative business, of course, to get into. So that still felt insecure. And I looked up what can I study. I'm not sure if it's called a study, but yeah, it is. And I got into graphic design in Utrecht. It's in the center of the Netherlands. Yeah, and I was allowed in with my TL diploma from high school. And yeah, it kind of started rolling from there. I was putting out more work, showing my work on Instagram back in the days. Yeah, drawing tattoo stuff all the time. And I had this goal after school, I could somehow have a portfolio and get into a shop. But my work somehow found its way into digital media because I bought a Wacom, a drawing tablet, an older model back then. And I started practicing a lot on that. And I was trying to make t-shirt designs. It just came to me. I was following this guy called Charlie Pangus on YouTube. He kind of did these tutorials and got me really inspired. And I said, other artists on Instagram that really inspired me. And then during my study, there was this printing area where you could make stickers and T-shirts and posters. And then after school, I would just go in there and make that sort of stuff and try to sell it in the hallways, and that worked. And then I got some jobs, like little projects from friends or just random people for really low budget things from the internet. And yeah, it started rolling, and I was making these pre-made designs, which I did a lot. I'm not really doing those anymore, but so in all my spare time, I would stay up after school until midnight making designs. I was going crazy for it. I finally found this passion, this thing that embraced me, and I embraced it. Yeah, and I just started pushing out work every day. I promised myself to make a design each day, which I did until sort of around the birth of our daughter, because I just couldn't put up with that anymore. But
Yeah.
for years, I did that, making a design each day, even if it's simple or really intricate and detailed, and trying to sell it, or it was for people. Yeah, it went from there. It went nuts. It just, yeah, it changed my whole life.
So definitely the aspect of you posting something every day helped,
Yeah,
obviously. And Instagram has changed quite a bit since, but
yeah,
that is something that at least was the consistency of constantly doing it every single day
hmm
for many,
yeah,
I would say for many years, because it wasn't like it's, consistently doing that. And I love the fact that you did doing it that way, where you're like, hey, I'm doing this and I'm also like pre-made designs already made that I'm coming up with. You want it, you can buy it, type of thing. How would you describe your design style to someone who's never seen your work?
yeah. It kind of went through some sort of shift. I did a lot of dark stuff in the beginning. I think that's also because I was more of going through a phase as a person as well, a darker time. And yeah, it's really happy and yeah, frolic right now. But yeah, I drew a lot of tattoo stuff, of course, like traditional tattoo. And then when I started moving into our previous house, where things really got up and going, I kind of got sick of all the same things, drawing skulls, roses, and daggers and stuff. And yeah, I was asking myself, where does this stop? Because some brands are going to try different stuff as well. And I was just thinking, yeah, really like cartoons. I have this big collection of figurines as well. I love all the Nickelodeon stuff, the Cartoon Network stuff. I used to love that a lot as a kid as well. And I was drawing little characters. I was just trying to sell those suddenly, making, I think it was like a sort of globe sort of character. I was saying like "fuck you" or something like that. I'm not sure anymore, but people really like that. It was a sudden shift from these skulls and all these grim things, and I shifted to this retro sort of Cuphead. That game. There's also this game Cuphead. I think it came out in 2018 or 19, and it also kind of influenced me. I think the characters just look so simple, but yeah, it's not really that simple, of course. But yeah, it really pushed me to try something new, and that really worked. And I think at the time I was one of the only people trying that stuff. That's my vision, because I followed a lot of other artists, and they didn't do it. And you're trying to always stand out in a way, of course, as an artist. But right now, I'm also thinking, yeah, what else can I do? It's also always a process, right? What else? What other style? What other idea can I do to stand out? Especially now, because Instagram is really tough to push you out these days. Yeah, but back then it was also kind of a rat race. Like, yeah, who's going to see me? What other big brand? And I'm not really focusing on that anymore. But yeah, it's kind of how I tried something new and really went for it. And now it's kind of what I'm known for most, I think, like
Yes, for
the
sure.
mascots and characters. Yeah.
What do you think was the moment that made you say, yeah, like this is what I ought to be doing, or this is it, like this is what I should be doing full time? And was there like a particular moment that happened, or something that kind of chain of
Yeah.
event triggered or anything like that?
Yeah, it was really early on, I think, already, because people, for the first time in such a long time, I felt seen through my work, like other students just saying, yeah, this is awesome, man. I want to buy this. That was crazy for me, because I was used to not knowing what I wanted and doing work for other people that always just push you around and tell you what to do. And for the first time ever, I felt that freedom, I think, like I made this and people want this and they give me kind words for this. Yeah, and it's unconscious, I think, at the moment when that's happening. But when I think back to it, like right now, I think that's what made me tick. I finally found that drive, and I always, yeah, I kind of got addicted to it as well in a way because I really wanted to make work each day because, yeah, that gave me purpose, and I was looking for that purpose. But yeah, I think it happened like back in at the end of 2017. In the mid of 2017, I started my official business, and I also had a clothing brand for a while with the other party, and people really believed in me. I was working 3 days a week at the marketing agency, and they worked together with me to do a brand that I always wanted to do. And yeah, just the trust and the kind words and people believing in you and your work. That's what made me do this, and that's what's still doing it for me. Just like you.
What so I'm going to have to ask questions about what your brand was about, your original brand was about, but I also want to know, what is it about t-shirts that you love? Because I know you do branding for other things as well, but I there is a
Mhm.
consistency of t-shirts as a common thing that you're designing for and illustrating for. So
Yeah.
what was your brand? What was the first brand? What was the brand that you created? What was that, like, the theme, or what was that about, just out of curiosity? And what is it about t-shirts that you love?
Well, the brand we started was called 21 Grams, and it was still in the more alternative route, more tattoo based. But it also was at the point of that shift, at near the end of that brand because it's not active anymore. But as you know, it's really hard to keep up a brand, and also do other things at the side. But yeah, aside from that, it was really tattoo focused. We were at all these events with tattooing, selling T-shirts there, hoodies and sweaters and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, near one of the last designs I believe was sort of a smiley, kind of happy thing, still with a little skull, but it was kind of the shift towards, yeah, other stuff. And from there, I just started developing because I had more time. It was during COVID, I think we ended the brand, and I left that job as well. And I had the whole week for my own. Suddenly, I had all the time of the world, which was kind of scary, but I kind of went with it. And ever since then, I've just been developing more and more of my own identity and style, and got to where I am now. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. What it
Okay.
I am curious though, what is it about t-shirts that you love
T-shirts,
designing
yeah.
for?
I'm wearing one right now, of course,
I love that.
for this
Very
podcast.
nice.
Yeah,
How
one I make
appropriate.
myself for you. Yeah, yeah. I was thinking of that in the morning. My whole closet is filled with Deli Fresh
I know, I
things.
love
So
it.
yeah, yeah. But t-shirts, yeah. I'm just pretty good at designing t-shirts. I think that's the main thing I'm good at for some reason. I also do branding and logos and all that sort of stuff, as you know, and you said, and I do that almost like monthly or weekly for people. But I definitely draw like 3 t-shirt designs a week for people. So sort of, yeah. Most of the time people come to me for t-shirt designs. That's true. I think that's part of the reason is because I'm showing a lot of t-shirt designs. But yeah, I just from the start I was doing t-shirt design, and it's kind of the thing I enjoy most as well. So I'm glad I'm getting most projects based around t-shirt designs, and I'm showing that a lot on Instagram as well and other stuff because yeah, that's just the main thing. And if you're showing animation all of a sudden, if you're doing that, it would attract people who are coming or looking for animation. I think
Yeah.
that's kind of the law that
Yeah.
the internet has
Yeah.
going on. But yeah, I just love doing t-shirt design, so I'm showing that the most because I love that.
So when you're starting a new design, usually comes first. Is it an idea, a feeling? Is there, like, are you like, is there music playing? Like, what is it? Like, I'm just kind of curious, like, on the creative
Hmm.
aspect of when you're creating. And I know it's a mix, because some things are you based, like you drawing on like your own for designs, just like you designing, but then there's also some for clients. So I'm just kind of curious, like, how's that process work for a new design for you?
Well, you are kind of familiar with my process, I think, because we do so many t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
But I just pick the brain of my client a little bit. Most of the time, they come to me. Sometimes I come to you because I'm asking, hey, do you have any new ideas? Because we work so consistently. But of course, most of the time, people come to me and they have this vague idea, or they are so in love with my work that they say, yeah, this is our brand. This is what we do. Can you come up with a design? those are occasions as well. But the first thing would be a rough concept, because I would love to just draw random stuff for people and hope it goes well. But it's also a risk for me, because when I spend all that time into that process and then show it and people are like, no, this is not what we want, then I can go back. So yeah, it's just good to discuss the concept, any ideas. We go back and forth. Yeah, like with the octopus design, you have the seafood team going on that you want to do a small collection of designs. And yeah, we just discuss how it should look, what would be a good composition. Yeah, and then I just start drawing from there. A good slogan is really important as well, because a good phrase or slogan gives me instant ideas, and you as well. You know, you often give little sentences or phrases to me, and I send you like, it could be this, it could be that. And that's just kind of how it works with almost any client. Yeah, we have this rough idea and we lock it in, and I start working on it. I show it and they either love it, most of the time they love it, or there's minor adjustments, just because they know what to expect from what I do, I think. And we have the base concept, yeah, put in. And then, yeah, I refine it from there. And then it's mostly that. And I tend to draw a back design first. People just love a front, like a small pocket front and a main back. And then I draw like a little element from the back for the front, or take it, you know. Yeah, it sounds really simple, but
No, I mean it's simple because you're good at it, and it's in concept it's simple, but it's hard to produce and create. What do you listen to music or anything? Is there
yeah.
movies, like do you got old movies playing or something playing in the background while you're working?
I really love watching YouTube when working, because I'm watching this screen right here and it's playing right there. And music, yeah, I'm always blasting music, yeah. Or it's never silent. Metal, hip hop, Dutch music as well. Very diverse taste. Used to only love metal and rock, but not anymore. So yeah, it's always playing. I used to draw a lot of ideas from music as well. Now that you mention it, especially in the darker phase of my art, metal and rock go hand in hand with that theme, of course. And when I heard like a little word or sentence in a specific song, I just go all out. It used to be so bad that I used to be with my wife. We could go out and I heard a song or something like that, and I wrote it down, you know, to come back to it later. I would sit down in the evening, and drawing it needs to be put on the screen, but I'm not doing that anymore. But yeah, now that you mention music, it has been a really big part, and now it's just kind of in the environment while working. And sometimes it still really inspires me, but I think it's more difficult with the style that I'm doing these days while listening to metal, because those two things go less hand in hand. But yeah, of course, they still can.
What I'm kind of curious, who have you designed? Is there like a brand that you've designed the most for that you remember, or like, or that you've done so many designs? You're like, I've done so many designs
Yeah,
for this. What are some
yeah.
of the brands that you've done quite a bit of work with?
First to come to mind would be a werewolf. I think you know them.
Think so?
When I started, I got into contact with Landon, and we've been doing so many designs. It's crazy. We're doing less these days, but yeah, crazy many designs. It's an alternative brand for being who you are, you know, like LHBTQ, and for willpower as well. A German brand. It's about running, a running brand. I'm still doing a lot of work with Chris. Yeah, I've been doing so many designs since 2017, I believe, as well for him. For you, I'm not sure when we started doing that.
I was trying to actually look. I looked at my emails to see the last thing I went, and I think it may have gone further, but I think the last thing I saw was, I think it's been since like 2002, might be 2001. I was trying to figure that out.
21,
like,
you mean, right?
yeah, 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Sorry. 21. Yeah. 21,
Yeah,
22.
I was still
Like
in
somewhere
high
in that
school.
range. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Maybe it was 20, maybe 21. But we've been doing a lot of designs as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've got so many T-shirts from you. That's crazy.
So I go on. I'm sorry.
No, no worries. More brands? I'm not sure. I need to think
No,
harder.
it's okay. I was just kind of curious on that. So, and
There's many consistent brands and people that
and
come
I
together.
expected that, because I was looking at your portfolio, and I was looking at the list of all the different names of all the different people on from your website, because I was curious, and I was like, man, I'm like, so many different brands.
my yeah, that list, but it's so outdated.
I know. I'm not on it, so I knew I wasn't. I knew it was outdated because I wasn't on it. Just kidding.
I think I can. Yeah, I think it goes
I'm
triple.
pretty sure that you could have a pretty long scrolling list by now of all the different people and brands that you've worked on, which I love. And with that
Thanks,
being
man.
said, like, how do you balance between your artistic vision and then the client's direction or the client's brand?
Well, again, when they come to me, they often come to me for what I do. And of course, sometimes there's some sort of conflict in that, in a way, that they expect that something else than what you're delivering. But it's just important to communicate and let the client know upfront what to expect. Like, I cannot do endless amounts of revisions, of course. It's always the goal to deliver, and they end up with a product that they can use. And then there's rarely an occasion that does not happen with me, by the way. Good to say. But yeah, I think people and brands are really picky kind of these days, on who they're going to approach because of all these different circumstances, of course, in the world. But when they come to you, they've probably seen enough to know this is the guy I am looking for. And if it's about money, then they would be comparing, then they would be sending out like 5 different emails to me and some different designers, and they would pick the one who's charging the least. Those are occasions that occur as well. But when they really are convinced about your style and what you can offer, then it's mostly not the problem. And the work, the whole process is mostly never a problem as well. So yeah, I'm not sure if that's a good
No,
answer,
no,
but
that's a good answer. That's a good. I know, and I was curious about that because I figure if they're coming to you, it's because they expect a certain style.
yeah,
That also kind of blends in with because of the fact that you do so many different caricatures and so many, and some of them kind of crossbreed. Like I am not the only brand or the only person that's ever done a sandwich thing with you because there's many different brands. How do you differentiate it? And how do you like make it so that it looks so it almost like every character looks different and it's not the same
yeah.
character being used for another brand?
I think part of it is the luck that I'm doing this style, and these characters, like people, they can always look different. You know, if you have a hamburger, you have another hamburger. That's what you're saying is when you're comparing those two for this brand and your brand, they still look like I made them, but the characters themselves look different, right? I think that's just my imagination doing wonders, like just drawing different eyes and different noses, different mouths, different expressions, different build-ups and sandwiches. Like, what are the ingredients? How do I make them look yummy, tasty, but still cartoony, and good blend between realism, especially for the designs that I'm doing with you. I think is a really strong point that I never really mentioned. Is they somehow look really appetizing, my food illustrations, but still really fun and cartoony in a way. And yeah, I think it's being aware that I'm storing all these designs in my head, and when I'm drawing a different burger, I can envision the ones I already did, and I know, yeah, it needs to be somewhat different than the other ones I did because yeah, this is a different brand. Yeah, it just got. I don't know. It's the magic of what I do, and I think of who I am that I found that I am able to do it in the way that it comes naturally.
So
So yeah,
you don't have it like saved. You don't have like other ones like saved. Like you're like, hey, these are like some of the things I've already done. Like these are all food related brands or this and that, and like you can kind of go back and look and be like, oh, I don't want to do something
mm,
like this. Is it something like that as well, or you just kind of it's all in your head and you're just kind of like you? And then I'm assuming you visualize it. You're
yeah.
visualizing it in your head, and then you kind of it comes out, right?
Yeah, I just go in when I get this email and we discuss the concept. It already starts going into my brain, and I can already envision sort of things, and then I can book it in for 2 weeks later or 3 weeks, but it's still somehow in there. My wife also tells me I'm just really imaginative and beelddenker. I don't know how you say it. Like I envision everything people tell me, and I'm so bad at names. I just can't remember people's names, but when I see people's face for 1 second, I just know who they are.
That's my problem. I'm the same exact way. I end up
Okay.
maybe I'll be like, oh wait, I think their Instagram handles this, right?
Mm.
Or I'm like, or if I see them, I'm like, I don't
You already
remember their
forgot.
name, but I know who they are.
Yeah, and when we're watching a movie or a series or something like that, and there's this specific guy or girl in there, I can name like this is that person, and my wife's like who? But yeah, I don't
That
know.
is
It's just really hard to explain. It's
no,
kind of how your brain works. I think I'm a creative person for a reason, because this is how my system works, and it's part of who you are, but also part of who you have been growing up. I think, like, I'm so exposed to every sort of cartoon, video games. I'm still playing games every day. I just love pictures, drawings, and yeah, I don't like to read. I have a bunch of comics, like dozens of comics, but yeah, it's rarely that I read them. I just like looking at the pictures. And that's also what my problem was at school, like high school. I just could not cope with reading and keeping it all stored in there. But the pictures, yeah.
You know, I'm very similar to you in that aspect. Like I read
Okay.
a lot of comic books because I didn't like to read, but I loved the
Hmm.
art and I loved all that stuff. And my brain does go very similar in the sense of
Okay.
things inspire. I have to write it down. I have way too many notebooks and way too many note sections on my phone where ideas will
Yeah.
come just because
Do
like a
you
phrase or something.
do you like that part of yourself, or do you sometimes wish it was a little bit different?
I wish I was. It's funny because like I would want to be. I wish I was more organized with it. To be honest
Mm.
with you, like I feel like I'm all over the place sometimes. Like I have all these different like notebooks and things that I like write things, and
Yeah.
then I'm like, and because I want to make sure I write it and I don't want to forget. And sometimes, and it's never always the same place. Sometimes I'll even tell my wife, like if I'm taking a shower or if I'm driving, and I'm like, hey, write, text me this, and it's
Mm.
because I'm like something will come in my head and it'll happen because even though I may doodle an idea, my
Okay.
brain I'm you know, but I am creative in that aspect where I see things. That's how I see it,
Yeah.
as well. So that's kind of I enjoy listening to people's creative process and how they kind of process it, just because I'm like I just think it's so interesting how people. But I do feel that I'm all over the place sometimes as well, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
I feel the same way with being all over the place, because I often feel like I don't even have enough minutes in a day, but doing all my hobbies and things that I force myself to do sometimes. But yeah, I do, I feel the same way, but not entirely, because I'm kind of organized. I think I'm more organized than what you're explaining about yourself. I would send myself messages or note things down for myself, and I know exactly where those things are.
I
That's
know where
different.
they are. It's like organized
Okay.
chaos is what I call it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, organized chaos. Like, but I want, and I'm trying to figure out a better option because like I have an iPad where I was like, oh, I want to be able to draw and do all these things and
Mm.
keep it on an iPad because I like the idea of doodling and coming up because that's how my brain will process. But then what ends up happening is then I'm back. I go back old school where I like a notebook and a pencil and a paper,
I
or
do
and
like
then
that as well. I don't have a digital agenda or anything. I have my agenda here on my desk, and I do like writing it down. While I'm digitally drawing most of my work, I'm noting down my work in my agenda and other things. But yeah, I'm really organized, as you can see. It needs to
no, it's
be
super, yeah, super crisp and clean.
clean
Yeah.
to be able to
Clean
work.
mind, clean mind. Yeah, no, I get it. So I need to ask, my wife wanted me to ask, and I was curious as well. Do you have a favorite Deli Fresh designs that you've done with us out of all the years that we've worked together? Is there one particular favorite that you're like, yeah, this was a great one. This is one of my favorites?
Ooh, that's a tough question. A favorite one. That's a tough question. I do, but I think it's I'm not sure what the title was anymore, but it's one of the early ones. It was on a heather gray shirt with the red print.
Yes, it was the hot dog and the sandwich.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
one of the
That that is one of, I will say that one and your the two most popular, obviously the two younger ones because they've been around for a while, would be You're a Big Dill Relish It with the pickle. And then the
okay.
other one that you're talking to is I call it DFT PSA, which is It's Okay to Be Different. Both are
Yeah,
delicious.
yeah. And I wanted to
Yes.
say the pickle one came to mind, but that's the full color one.
Yeah.
And I wanted to mention it, but you already mentioned it before me.
Yeah.
I thought of it, and I was like, I think that one is also really cool.
Yeah, those are two that I absolutely like are some of my favorites. We've done some great ones and that's the part I won't one of the things that is I love about a relationship and it also scares me about a relationship is if I start saying to you when you ask me like, "Hey, what are you thinking?" and I start kind of rattling off things, what I appreciate the fact is that you understand my brand so well so that
Hmm.
when I start saying things, you automatically you're like, oh yeah, what about this, this, and this? And then I
Yeah,
start playing off of it. And then it gets dangerous because then next thing I know, I'm like, we got 5 designs we're gonna work on. And
yeah.
which I'm like, which that could be expensive on my part, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, I want to work on these. I'm like, I love this
Yeah.
idea. So I get it.
I think I'm not filling it out for my other clients, but I think it's often the case with other clients as well. I have this sort of natural feeling when people come to me and they start describing kind of what they want to build on top of that, and they're like, yes, this is it. This is what we're gonna do. And then I can think of, like, instantly I can think of more. Somehow I just sort of a machine. That's also why I could keep doing pre-made designs and drawing my own sort of stuff every day. I could still do that, but I just don't have the energy anymore.
Yeah. No, I get it.
But yeah, sort of. I think I have this creative brain machine inside of me for some reason. Yeah, really imaginative, sort of.
No, man. I love that. I love that. What keeps you inspired when creativity feels dry or burned out?
Tough one. I would say rest, but I'm not the type to rest, so it would not be an honest answer. But it's, yeah, you can only go up so much, and then suddenly you're like, I'm blank. Yeah, I've been there. But it's also kind of contradictory to what I just said about always being able to come up with some sort of idea. But it's more, with me, it's more like I'm kind of sick and tired of doing the same thing. And then I'm stuck for a week and trying to think of what else I can do and then revert back to what I did later. I think that's part of being an artist as well, and part of being human. I think sometimes you're sitting there wondering, what else can I do? Well, at least with me. Or should I be doing this more to be seen more? Or should I be doing this more? It's always kind of more. But sometimes the answer lies in doing less, I think, and just letting it flow and seeing from there. But I'm really aware of that because I, just like you, keep doing all these things, and then you're suddenly somewhere mid your week, you're like tired and sort of feeling burned out, and you know what you need to do. It's, you need to relax, but there's this voice in your head that's saying, but you need to do this, and you have this client and he's waiting for you, and you need to do this idea that you had. But yeah, it's balance. It's just all about balance. Just stopping your workday 2 hours early and just sitting on the couch, playing video games, going for a walk, not working on Friday and going out with your wife, getting lunch, and then just, you'll see if that person that you were thinking of that's expecting work is going to message you or not, and then you have your answer ready. But yeah, I'm really fully aware of that, but I'm also really struggling with stopping work,
Yeah.
you know?
No, and
That's
I think that's super important. And that kind of leads me to my other question of, since you kind of gave already some, but when you're not designing, what do you do for fun? And I know video games obviously is one of them, but I also know you do a lot of outdoor stuff. So what else do you do for fun?
Yeah, we used to, we got rid of it, but unfortunately, but we had this camper van that we really enjoyed. But when our daughter was born as a baby, and we tried going camping with her in that thing, but it's just such a pain. She's a really bad sleeper, and in the camper it was just horrible. And you needed to do like 2 hours of walking before she would sleep, and then you were in this tiny space together, being really quiet. It just was not really a holiday or a vacation feeling at all. So we had to make a different decision, and we got rid of that. But we bought a little, it's called a chalet, like a little vacation home in the Veluwe here in the Netherlands. It's like a really nice wooded area. So we're really happy with that. And we like to go there, but not in winter because it's really cold. So it's spring and summer. We will be there often in the weekends and holidays. Walking, I really love nature, walking and biking, like cycling, mountain biking, and cycling in general with my wife, and going to explore different restaurants, and sitting at the terrace and just eating and drinking good beers. And I really like playing video games, of course. I'm waiting for this new game, Neo 3. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. It's a Souls-like game, but really difficult. I like that. It should drop in the mail anytime. And I like going to thrift shops for finding new old comics and old toys, buying new toys, collecting new toys. I'm running out of space, even until I have a bigger studio now. But yeah, that, going with friends, playing Magic, collecting cards, yeah, that sort of stuff.
I saw that. I saw that you Pokemon. I saw a Pokemon recently, right?
Yeah,
You also collect Pokemon?
Occasionally, I buy some Pokemon, but not all sets. But yeah, it's not my main thing. But Magic the Gathering is a main thing. I have so many Magic cards. And I used to play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh when I was younger. So it's also part of the artwork that's really drawing to me, you know. It's
Imagination, artwork, creativity, all that type
everything
of
with
stuff.
good artwork on it is up my alley. and games as well, of course. It's just a work of art that you can interact with. Watching good movies, going to the cinemas. Yeah, many hobbies. Music.
I love it though.
Used to, yeah, discovering new music and stuff just on Spotify. Yeah, that
Did
sort of
you
stuff.
play as well? Because I've seen in
No,
pictures that you had, because I saw in pictures you
yeah.
had like amps and stuff like that. I've
This
seen.
thing, yeah, but
Oh, is that a
that's a
fridge?
fridge. That's a fridge. Yeah,
This whole time I'm like, oh my god, I gotta ask him if he plays any music because I saw pictures, but I didn't realize it was a fridge, not an actual amps.
was this other amp on top of it. That's an actual speaker, but that's downstairs right now because I bought that sound bar. And the Marshall one looks better downstairs, and my wife wanted to put on music when cooking, and so it's there now. But yeah, no, I don't play any instrument. I do have a guitar, but it's from my older brother. So I but he passed away, so that's why it's here. But I don't play it.
I know one of the things that you collect is you have a vast collection of is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
And I know the answer, but I'm gonna ask it anyhow. Who
Mhm.
is your favorite turtle out of the four? Or who's your favorite? I guess who's your favorite character on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Even though I know it's one of the turtles.
Yeah, you know the answer. It's Donatello, of course. Yeah, because it's simple just because of the name, but also because he's kind of geeky, the most geeky one, the most gadget focused oriented guy, sort of serious but also jokey. It's kind of like me, I think. Yeah, and also the name. It's just a good coincidence to
No,
be kind of name buddies.
I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. So I like asking my guests to put things out into the universe. Is there something you want to put into the universe for Dedonleon Designs? Is there something that you want to put out there? Whether it's I want to work with someone, I want to do something like what is out there in the universe? What do you want to manifest and put out into the universe for yourself and
Yeah,
your brand and your work?
yeah. Two things come to mind. One thing would be illustrating for a children's book. That would be so awesome to draw every page and then seeing the book itself. That's one dream project. Doesn't matter for who or whatever. If it's big or small, I would love to do that. No matter the theme as well. I would just be so yeah. That's awesome. And maybe rebranding like a toy store or something like that. That would be crazy cool. Or a website even. A physical store would be even better. Like full branding for toys, retro toys, new toys, whatever. It just up my, what's connecting with me. That would be great to someday do as well.
I love that. I think those are fun. I laughed when you said children's book
Yeah.
because I won't I don't want to say it, but I have some idea for a children's book
Okay.
that I've been that my wife and I jokingly talked about. But so that's something that just made me laugh when you said that. So yeah. So
It would be
we may
food
talk
themed, right?
we may possibly talk or whatnot if I actually am serious about it or not, but I have thought about something, so we'll see. So that's
That
kind of
would
fun.
be it would be awesome, especially working together with you and your wife on that.
Yes. So we'll have to have another conversation in the future about that. And if not, if anyone who's actually thinking of it, I think you would do amazing work on something like that. But I think I do think children's books are fun, and I do think that you would be amazing at it, especially with all the different characters that you create. So
Yeah.
I definitely think that that would be a fun project with anyone that you did, and I could totally see that happening. I mean, have you thought about? Do you have an idea for a design that you made for like your own book, or you just want to you don't want to write it, you just want to be able to draw it, you don't want to do all of that, you
Yeah,
just want to do the art part of it?
I would love to write it as well. No, I would aim towards just illustrating it. I have not really thought of a theme that I could write it for.
Yeah, yeah. I was just
But yeah,
curious.
this is what I do. I like illustrating. So
Yeah, yeah,
if
no,
someone
I
has a
get
good
it.
idea, like
I
you,
got it. I got it. I got two more questions for you. One is, what advice do you have for someone wanting to start some?
well, there's only one advice: is just going for it, dedicating every minute you have, aside from other things you need to do, putting all the attention and love into it. And I'm convinced that anything grows with that sort of discipline and enthusiasm, no matter what it is. If you make it your own somehow, I know you need to search for it, making it your own, and you're at the start you're trying things that other people are doing, but then later on you start doing your own thing and rolling into your own style. If it's art, if it's food, if it's whatever, just feeling what you feel and going with that is the only key to making it a success, not only financially, but also as a person. And yeah, you will feel so connected to what you're doing because it's coming from what you're feeling. And that's the only thing that's worth keeping up doing it every day. Because I would not be able to do what I did when I dropped out of school for the rest of my life. It would make me so unhappy. You need some sort of drive to really push yourself to what I did, I think, in a way. But if you're feeling that you need to do your own thing, just go with it, do everything, drop everything else if possible, do it with love, and you'll just get it back tenfold.
Where can people follow you? Where can they see your work? Give them your social media, even though it'll be in the show notes. But I always like to have this so in case they're listening to this and they're on their phones, they can go and look for you online. So where can they follow you at?
It's just mostly Instagram. It's I know there's something called TikTok as well, but I don't really use it. So yeah, I would say Instagram and my website as well. But I need to update that portfolio badly. I think I have not been doing that for 2 years, but it's on the schedule for this year. So, but yeah, just say hi to me on Instagram. That works. All my work goes there.
And the Instagram is just to give you an
Dedonleo.
Yes, which is the Don Leon Designs, by the way, which made me laugh because I saw it and I was like, Dedonleon. I was like, wow, I'm like from or by. And I was like, and he's like, no, the. And I was like, oh, okay, that would make sense because I'm Spanish and you're Dutch. So that would make sense. So, so I totally get that.
Is the word in Dutch.
Yeah. I love this because I apologize for not doing this sooner because I did find you on Instagram and I think I basically kind of built a relationship just because of the fact that I think I commented and liked everything that you were working on and I would always comment about things and I think I just kind of created a relationship that way just because I do appreciate your art and I thought your art was great and I love the fact that you understood and you appreciated what I was doing with my brand and I think I love the relationship we've created that I'm consistently being able to work with you because I do think we do great work together. And I love the fact that, we make good sandwiches.
You always had this logo from the bread. What's its name again?
Yeah. Biggie bread.
Biggie bread. Yeah. I need to know, but I'm bad at names. Like okay. I mentioned. But you had this logo for back then already. And I was diving into this whole new style. And that made me think, whoa, this could be something, and that's kind of how we connected. I think.
No, man, it's been great. I love working with you. I think, and obviously one of the big things I tell all my, if you go online and you look and you're like, hey, I wonder which one he did, you can pretty much tell, but you could also tell because when you click on a picture, I'm always telling people who designed my shirts. So you can actually see all the ones that he's done and he's done quite a few. Some you'll see as stickers. Some some have become stickers and not shirts yet. Some are, but a majority of them are shirts because I love the work that we do together and I really appreciate you, man. You really, you've been great and great for my brand and I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you a lot too, Biggie. Yeah, it's just so good to have consistent clients like you. I often tell you this, of course, but it's really important for me to be able to rely on certain people, even though we have never chatted like this. But I do know that I can count on you. And when I send you a message like, hey, you have any new ideas? There's never a moment that you don't have any new ideas. And yeah, just you trusting me and going with my crazy ideas and we're thinking of crazy ideas together. It's just so much fun. And we have so many t-shirts done and I have them here in my closet. You always send me care packages with free stuff. It's just amazing.
Yeah, man. I have to because I want you to wear what you've done. It's kind of like I look at it as because I have my tattoo artist says, hey, listen, like my work, you're wearing my work. And I'm like, and so you like basically you're a billboard for what I design or what I do. And I thought, what better way for you to appreciate or be able to see it? I want you to be able to wear what you're making because you're a part of my brand. You're one of the many chefs that kind of help me create my brand. And I appreciate it.
But not everyone does that. Like you mentioned, you have a whole list of clients, but maybe like 10% at most does that. And I really love that. It's just so good to see the physical product. That's also the reason why a children's book would be so cool to make that physical product and hold it in hand. because I don't make a lot of physical products like branding. It's somewhere out in the US or whatever place, like a new shop opens, but I will never be able to see it, because I live in the Netherlands.
Yeah. What do you get most of your, out of curiosity? Cause like, I know I've heard you say when you were talking about like Germany and stuff like that and like the US, is there like, are you getting work predominantly as like all just around the country, all over the world? Or is it a lot coming from the US? Cause I mean, I know you've done a lot of US brands as well. So, I mean,
it's like 80% US, maybe 70 and maybe 15 UK. Last few years has been quite a bunch of Dutch projects as well, which is kind of weird because I'm Dutch. But I just show my work in English. I post it in English, and people think I'm American for some reason as well. But often people think I'm an American. So somehow. But most of my clients are US based, and also some German ones. But it's mostly US actually. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Don, that I really appreciate you taking a lunch break with me and hanging out with me today and getting to tell your story. That's our show for today. Thank you so much for Don Schuuring of Dedonleon Designs for being on and having a lunch break with me. Definitely make sure to check him out online and make sure, if you enjoyed the show, subscribe. Make sure you're giving him a follow online. If you want to support me, check out my brand, Deli Fresh Threads. Do some shopping. Tell your friends. Obviously, sandwich selfies. Sandwiches taste better when you wear Deli Fresh Threads. I'm just going to tell you that. Thank you. Until next time, keep eating sandwiches and follow your passion.